Hey everyone, Faro here with League Top 10, and today I'm presenting the second champion that appeared on the test realm, Gragas the Caskmaster. Gragas is based on a Drunken Master type character, and he's a very large dwarf, as you can see in the video. Gragas' passive is pretty interesting. It's every spell cast he gains 2% of his health over 4 seconds. Initially this was 4% in internal tests, but according to Riot employees this made him completely immovable from any lane, with his W that restores mana. There was talk of increasing his passive to scale with level to make it noticeable in the late game, but whether that actually goes through or not is up to the developers. His Q rolls a barrel out to the target location, and 5 seconds later, or after you press the Q button, it detonates for a sizable amount of damage. I believe the AP scaling on this is 0.8, and all you have to do is press Q again to detonate it. Once you select a location, you cannot detonate it until it reaches that location. It's not like Anivia's Q, where you can select a location and blow it up at any point. You have to pick where you want it to go in advance. You can actually throw it right on top of you if you want to, but it's very easy to land with some practice. It's also very easy to avoid with some practice. So he is one of the harder heroes to use because his primary damage, and you're going to see this with his ultimate as well, comes from being able to land skill shots appropriately. One thing to note about barrel roll is that using it for the full 5-second delay is beneficial during the laning phase. If you throw it on top of creep waves, melee champions won't want to run in and get the last hit on them because the barrel is sitting there ready to detonate at any time. This essentially denies them gold, which is an amazing thing to happen. Another thing worth noting is it's a bug on the test realm, which I am sure will be gone by live, is that any barrels thrown out while you're in brush are completely invisible to anyone outside the brush. This makes it really hard to avoid on the test realm, but again, should be cleared up by live. Gragas' W is called Drunken Rage, and Drunken Rage basically restores, I think, like 50 mana for every second you channel it, and it has a 1.5 second channel. And it lowers the damage you take by 33% at max rank and increases your physical damage by 60%. Now, the thing about Gragas is that without proper use of Drunken Rage, he feels like a very weak hero because, you know, his Q is a skill shot, his E isn't really damage, and his R has a rather long cooldown. So, with proper use of Drunken Rage, you're going to be able to take a real beating because of the 33% reduced damage, and your physical damage is not going to be negligible. Making sure that you have Drunken Rage up for every serious encounter is crucial to playing a good Caskmaster, and I can't stress that enough. Using a max cooldown reduction build, you can actually get Drunken Rage to have a 100% uptime, because on the test realm, the duration of Drunken Rage is longer than 60% of the cooldown. This means that one of the most challenging elements of this character is negated by being smart with your item choices. Body Slam is Gragas' version of a gap closer because he is a casting melee hero and he needs one of those. So Body Slam propels you forward until you collide with something or until you go a set amount of distance. The distance is pretty small, but it's big enough to get you away from a gank, which is important. The gap closer does get caught on minions, it does get caught on walls, and it does get caught on other heroes. When it gets caught on a minion or a hero, it slows them, and the slow has been changed several times on the PTR, so I don't have the exact number, but from what I remember, it should be 150% at max rank. It also does damage based on your physical damage plus a base number, and it deals that divided among the targets it hits. So let's say you can get your body slam to do 300 damage. If it hits 3 targets, it's going to do 100 damage to each target. But if it hits 1 target, it's going to do 300 damage to 1 target. This makes Body Slam, reasonably good in combination with Drunken Rage, because Drunken Rage does give you a sizable amount of physical damage at all ranks, but it doesn't scale with your primary damage from your Q and your R. So it's a little hard to work with, and it's part of the challenge of the hero. Gragas' ultimate is called Explosive Cast and boasts a 1-1 AP scaling, moderate base damage, something like 200 at rank 1, 400 at rank 3, an attack speed snare, and an extremely low cooldown, able to get to about 40 seconds with a little bit of cooldown reduction. I think it's base 60. The Explosive Cask is a targeted skill shot. You target it much like you would target Event Horizon, for example. Yes, Event Horizon is a good way to do it. It shows you a very large targeting circle in the area you can throw it in. And with Event Horizon, the targeting circle shows the borders of the stun. But with Gragas' Cask, the targeting circle shows the detonation area. And anyone caught in this area is going to be knocked in a direction. They're going to be pushed away. What this means is that if you can get this off in a team fight, you're going to be able to completely mess up the opponent's positioning. You can also use it on runners. With good targeting, you can push them back into you. You can use it to escape. You can push people away from you with it. You can actually throw it over walls into team fights from a safe position. Spent a lot more time explaining skills than I expected I would, so I'm going to have to make this item selection really quick. I found Haunting Guise to be the best way to go with defensive masteries. Haunting Guise basically means you're going to go to your lane with a Rejuve bead and a Fairy Charm and a health pot. You're going to get your Q first, and then you're going to get your W. And I've seen people max W and do really well. I've seen people max Q and do really well. But I've tried maxing Body Slam, and it did extremely poorly. So I can't emphasize enough that you should just take a single point Body Slam for the escape, and then, just max out either Q or W. I like Q, my friends like W. It's up to you to figure it out. From Haunting Guise, I've seen people go Rod of Ages. I've tried Riley's, and Riley's only works on his Q Explosion and his R. So be careful if you're trying a Riley's build, although a caster tank does feel like this guy's role, and Riley's has a lot of HP and a decent amount of ability power. Alright everyone, good luck, have fun. I've got a couple more videos to do, and hopefully I'll be able to give you guys a preview of the masteries if they make it to the test realm before live. Do me a favor, and make sure Drunken Rage stays as one of his abilities and not the status of all chat.